I remember because I sent it to my husband.
Yeah.
Your
Your
40s,
40s, in your 50s,
yeah,
your,
I
your
remember.
40s, you work how you want. Your 50s, you work
When you
when you want.
Then
Your 60s, you work if you want.
to.
Yes,
I think
yes.
that's
Not caring about visibility feels like you've done good work, like a masterpiece, right?
Yeah.
You put it in an exhibition hall and you switch off the lights.
because I did a PhD, so I focused on that. So now that's why you see me reading 100 books in 2 years.
Not only the user, because in food, we have a difference between the customer and the consumer. So the customer is the person that experiences your product at the point of purchase.
Okay.
And the consumer is the person that actually uses the product, the end user. You're selling baby food, for example. The people that buy are not the people that eat, that consume. You're selling pet food.
Please just share. There's share.
Oh, there's share of shelf.
You will see why I brought him to our podcast. God, wait, please. There's share of mine. There's share of share. I said I went home last year. So, welcome back to Explore Learning Leadership Real World Growth through honest conversations with people who are building quietly but intentionally. Today's guest is someone whose career spans global multinationals, emerging markets, education, food systems, commercial strategy, and Sub-Saharan Africa, and the Middle East included. So Victor Okeugo is a senior business development and commercial leader with experience at organizations such as Times Higher Education, Elsevier, Novozymes, Arla Foods, and GSK. And beyond the titles, Victor is also a father and a leader shaped by values, not just targets and goals. So Victor, welcome to our podcast today. Thank you so much for making our time. This is such an honor to be able to sit with you, talk with you, and let people hear all those things I've been learning from you.
I've lived and worked in about 4 countries. In on ground work, like work projects, all that. I think close to 30 countries now. Right.
Oh,
but
30
so,
countries.
But that being said, I don't think you get the preparation in one day.
No.
Everything that has happened actually contributed to that preparation. It's a compounding effect. So it for me was that when I left school, finished service, I started actually targeting some specific profiles of organizations to work with. So I started that quite early. So
what were you looking out for in those organizations? So if someone is in UNN, for instance, which is where we came from, if someone is on campus, what should they be looking out for? Like, is it based on how should they target?
So number one, there is no straight jacket response to this because people's path are determined by their purpose, right? So for some people, it might be to get into a startup, build from scratch, and then dominate in a couple of years within the industry or something. For some people, so I look at this from 2 lenses, and on one end, there are the people who are builders. On the other end, there are people who are managers, right? They require different skill sets, right? So I knew at some point I was going to do a lot of building.
So for you, you knew building was part of it.
It was what I was going to do for a long time. But that being said, I needed to understand best practice. I needed to understand global templates. People who are doing it great now, what exactly are the structures? How do you work around the structures? And so I was looking out for organizations that had these structures. So I started targeting multinationals very early.
Very early.
And
so you did not target startups early?
No, not one.
There's a lot to unpack. Are you sure 1 hour is enough? Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah. So I started targeting and not just any multinational. There were specific types. Right. The entire mapping was just by myself. And I know that it would have helped if there were people around at that stage of my life. I would have actually gone further. I don't know if I fully answered that question about
you did, because from what you've given me, I have like 100 questions to follow up. Because what I'm picking up here is there's a place for planning.
Yes.
There's a place for hard work.
Yes.
There's a place for your vision and your passion to align with what you're targeting. When you said some people are builders and managers, I was like, oh, come on. Like, no. I literally sat myself down 2 days ago and I'm like, I think I'm more of a builder. I like to start things. But in this season of my life, I'm also teaching myself to start and sustain things. So if you give me something, start this. I have that initial momentum, initial fire. What I need to test and stretch myself into is staying with it.
Exactly.
Being there, that's staying power.
Exactly.
To scale.
Exactly.
To scale it. So that's where I'm stretching myself. That's staying power. Keep on it.
Like you said, stretching yourself, because there are skill sets that are required for each bucket.
One.
Yes.
Okay.
There are different skill sets because there was a time there are people who can build from scratch. But
that's
put them in a management situation.
Operations, business as usual. They crumble.
Yes. Not crumble as in they can't do it, but that's the operations requires certain routines. And some people are really not
operations, business as usual.
Right.
I hate it.
So some people
I need to be challenged. I need to be motivated.
But then I consider these things muscles that you build. These are muscles. If you don't build them, you don't get strong in them. And nobody starts out physical exercise by lifting maybe 100 kg.
No.
Right. So basically, you start from small, and then you keep working those muscles. The more you work them, the stronger they get. Every capability in this life is a muscle. So basically, so you start working those muscles, and over time, before you know it, you start getting proficient at them. But if you try the first time and you fail, because you will fail, you fail, and then you shy away from it, you never get better at it. So basically, the people who actually do really great things in this life, people who really need to be comfortable with the art of failure. You need to be comfortable. Yeah, because that was an area where I had huge problems. I had huge problems because, like I said, I started out with an environment where I needed to learn how to manage based on structures. So I started as a management trainee in GSK.
Wow.
Right. So basically, understanding structures, understanding best practices, understanding how the corporate world works.
Yeah.
Right. And then, of course, from there, I had the opportunity to leave the country. So working with, though in structured environments, working with startup projects. So it's like this concept of being an intrapreneur, where you actually build from scratch, but within established systems. So basically, that also helped me create that balance between building from scratch and also managing things to term. Basically, so now what I do now for organizations, at least for the last, say, at least for the last 7, 8, 9 years, have largely been helping organizations find their feet in Africa. So basically, an organization that's looking to drive, maybe they've tried one time or another to get in to Africa, and for some reason they've not found traction.
Yeah.
Basically, so I take their strategy, review their existing strategy, and then revamp that strategy based on my experience of the market. And I can say we've really had good success with the organizations I've actually worked with over the last. So what I do now is helping build from scratch.
Which is projects in a way, project management, because it's something that is new and will bring about change if you need.
Exactly.
And then you still manage it to term when you say that it stuck with me, because you're not looking at benefit realization. That is the extended project life cycle.
Exactly. So how I started, because most of my life has been largely commercial project management.
I know.
So basically,
is that business? There's a question you're going to answer for us at the end of the day, because when I spoke to you last year, you told me the difference between marketing and sales. You remember that conversation? So I'm going to bring it back here, and we're going to learn from Victor. So okay, so let's go back to, you were talking about so we're talking about project and then benefits realization, which is the extended project life cycle. But you're saying that you started off as commercial project management.
So I have done mostly commercial project management in various regular roles. Right now, when I got in as management trainee in GSK,
that was what you started.
That was what I started with. So of course, we came in as commercial management trainees. So it was a case like we were given real life business issues in the company, and we're to build projects around solving those commercial issues, especially within the sales and marketing function.
So more like frictions and pain points of the company.
Yes. Okay. So that was what we're tasked to do. So
that's a lot, though.
Yeah.
Still with GSK?
No. Arla Foods.
Arla Foods.
And so basically, it was also similar because there were 5 of us, and 5 of us were sent to different countries within the region.
You've held leadership roles in business development, category management, partnerships, and solution selling in large multinationals. And leadership can sometimes feel different from ownership. I think this kind of like connects back to what we've been saying. So what does real leadership look like inside a multinational organization?
I think the last part of that question is,
how do you influence without formal authority? Yeah.
The last part of that question is what will determine the actual answer. Because while there are general notions of leadership, the principles of leadership are quite applicable everywhere.
I agree.
However, environments require that you adapt to the realities of that environment. A startup founder, right? Especially if you're a technical operator as a startup founder, most times your word is law at the beginning stages, right? You say things and they're done.
Yeah.
In a multinational, it's different because you're working within a web, right? A web. The organization is sort of like a web, right? You're interconnected with various
branches.
Yeah. Apart from even branches, functions.
Cross-functional.
Yes. So for your
like a web.
Yeah, exactly.
Web.
Exactly. For you to succeed, you need other people. Yes. Other people are integral to
Some
your
people
own
left
stock.
the WhatsApp group.
Yes. I'll give you an example. If you're in marketing, for example, no, I mean, sales. Sales. I don't know now. I've done B2C or B2B. Let me use B2B for an example. You're in sales in a B2B, right? You've had customer meetings, and you've understood the customer needs, and you know that this is something your organization can meet. This falls within your product portfolio, what you can do. Now, however, this customer needs some customized solutions that you offer, and then you sit with him, understand the needs, and go back to your team. You need the people who are developing the products to actually work with you to understand the customer needs the same way you understand it. Number one. You need the people within, say, legal, regulatory, and something to sign off on certain bits, without which compliance, without which you can't ship the solution. You need people within finance to agree with you on price and things, because again, this is a long-term customer. You're looking to give them discounts in order to get them on board, and then finance needs to agree to that this is profitable enough to do, and things like that. You can see how various. Imagine that one unit decides to frustrate you. That project will succeed.
I am a project manager. This is what I do. So
exactly,
I work with finance, I work with commercial, I work with legal. So
exactly,
you need even marketing, so host workshops. So yeah.
So basically, without the buy-in of the various functions that affect your work, you will fail, not because you're not good at what you do, but because of one skill: stakeholder management.
Stakeholder management.
So that is the answer for, because what do you need to drive influence and leadership within a multinational? Stakeholder management is something you cannot ignore.
You are wasting your time. Yes. You are just wasting your time.
Apart from the stakeholder management means understanding the people whose actions, whose functions impact on your role or impact on your deliverables, and then based on your understanding of them, managing them effectively. So basically, and that now translates to, remember, we're talking about multinationals here. Different cultures, different climes, time zones, different regulatory and policy environments, different
ways of working too.
So basically, you need to know, if you're within a multinational environment, first of all, who are my stakeholders? Who are the people whose work impacts on my own output? Because here we're taking it for granted that you're good at what you do, but people can make you look stupid. If you do not manage them well. So that stakeholder management is one thing. Now, remember, I've talked about different functions, right? How you interact with your function and others. Now, how you interact with your own region, your own zone and others. There is also how you interact within the hierarchy of the business, right? How you interact depending on your position with your peers, with your superiors, with your subordinates. And of course, these bits apply to various organizations, whether they are multinationals or not. But remember that in multinationals, it's a complex web. You are dealing with the entire thing, both within your local, and then you are dealing with that outside.
That's basically a lot, though.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And it requires a really, really good stakeholder management skills.
Because it's not just that you've worked with multinationals.
There was a time when I sat in a particular office in a particular country, right? And this was like several years ago, more than 10 years ago, right? I was in a particular office with colleagues, and for some reason, I made a mistake in an email that I was sending to a customer. I made a mistake, and I was beating myself up for it. I went to my line manager and said, listen, see what I've done. How do we correct this? How do we correct this? No, his response was, he burst out laughing. And immediately walked out to tell everybody in the office what I had done in the open office. And everyone started laughing. Now, in the culture where I'm coming from, right?
It got more of shame.
You should understand. That was
hiding, covering up your mistakes.
The first time when he went out and he said it and people started laughing, I felt like entering into the ground.
Oh my God.
What have I done? I saw that this is them. They're lighthearted about this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. And so
I agree with you.
Basically, like nuances in cultures are things that you really have to be swimming through and understanding and knowing how.
You're learning a lot. You're learning to bend, to adjust. Do you ever feel you are losing yourself in the process?
So initially, I would say my formative years growing up as a child, I sort of learned to cope with life as a people pleaser.
Oh God. Okay.
And I had to unlearn that at some point in my life. Knowing how to actually hold my own,
hold your core,
understand my identity. Who am I?
Who are you?
Who am I as a person? Now, when you've built your sense of worth, understand your identity. When you move out into these various
places, I need to be writing now. Okay.
When you move out into these various places, your strength of identity actually can withstand the force of external pressure. People will ride roughshod over you very, very, very well. Like the world, people are looking for who to lord it over.
Yeah.
So
I think for me, respect is when people say, oh, I need respect for me, I give it like you're saying, and I demand it. It's non-negotiable for me. I come to that table and you must bring respect to it. You can actually hold your love. I always tell people, I don't need your love. Actually, I just need that respect. Dignity as a human being. That's all.
In corporate circles, love is not necessarily a factor.
Oh dear.
Respect is.
Respect.
But of
those
course,
handshakes, yeah.
Of course.
Because with respect, we talk of integrity. There's so many things that come with respect. So
if in the mix you are able to get love along with it,
oh dear,
fine.
It's a bonus.
But so be true to yourself, be true to your values, because you can't. I wish I started this conversation on the basis of values, basically. Be true to your own values. No, that's why this thing about knowing yourself, knowing your identity, having a strong sense of worth, sense of identity, knowing who you are, knowing your non-negotiables.
In negotiation and like in when you're doing contracts, and it's called zone of agreements.
So basically. Okay, I don't want to give out too much in case my customers are watching this. So let me not delve into that, because there are things. Because again, when you go with proposals, right? Customer, like there are floor price regions where you can't go beyond this. But there are markups basically that okay, I just keep this as my negotiation chips. Basically, let's negotiate around this. But you can't get below this. So that below is the foundational part of that. Those are your core values. So I think it's important for anyone who's really looking at a global facing position.
I'm not even sure if I want it though.
No, yeah, but it doesn't mean you travel like this. But you can do. Before I started traveling, I was in one spot, but really managing global projects, right? International projects from one place.
Talking with you about leadership, a lot of things have come out here. We're talking about stakeholder engagement, situational leadership, culture, eating, strategy for breakfast, and so it's really been an honor to be able to sit with you and draw from real life experience. We're not just reading a book now. We are reading Victor Okeugo. And if you have not read him like I have, this is your opportunity. Please stay with us. Keep soaking up all the knowledge that's going to come up. And hopefully one day we'll get him to create his own YouTube channel. Where last year again when we were discussing, I want people to hear this. So you studied mass communication as your bachelor's. That was your background. But then you were telling me, like when you were in GSK, you had to start reading science, like not just for the sake of, okay, this is biology. You had to start studying biochemistry. You had to start studying food. You became a scientist. Let's unpack that.
This was not GSK per se.
Okay,
it was Novozymes.
Novozymes, yes. When you joined Novozymes.
It was Novozymes.
Novozymes is a pharmaceutical?
No, so they produce industrial enzymes.
Industrial enzymes. Study biochemistry. He was learning that.
So basically, I like you mentioned, my degree was in mass communication.
Yeah.
And even in secondary school, I was not a science student. I was not even commercial. I was in the arts. Basically. So basically, when I left the university, I started with a commercial position. So I had to really get into understanding finance, reading up debit and credit, things like that, revenue,
income statement,
things like that and all. Then, of course, by the time I moved into Novozymes, it was still a commercial role, business development. But you're selling industrial enzymes, right? Your customers, the people you have to speak to in your customer organizations are R&D directors.
Research and development, R&D,
R&D directors. Now, some of these guys have had PhDs before you were born.
I like the emphasis on before you were born.
And now you have to convince them that the solution you're bringing is better than what they've known for years.
Look.
And you are just a flat-out commercial guy. You've never sat in a physics or chemistry class, and you want to prove. Do you see the situation I was in?
Yeah.
So basically,
you had to study.
Yes, after my first few meetings, I felt so useless that, of course, I could hold my own in commercial meetings.
Yeah,
but I knew that I needed to be more effective in how I position my products. Right. I had a technical colleague, but he wasn't with me all the time.
No.
I knew that for me to move at the pace that I wanted, I needed to get a foundational understanding. And this was because I was coming from Arla Foods at the time. And one of the things that helped me with Arla Foods was that I went to, because of the time I spent in the company and the various roles I've held and the various markets, I actually went to the foundational level, understand dairy production from scratch. I visited the dairies and I slept on a dairy farm, understood from milking process to factory process to warehousing to the shop floor. So basically understood. So
boots on the ground.
So for me, part of my secrets is wherever I enter, regardless of whether you are required to do it or not, go to root causes.
Grassroots.
Go down to understand root causes in your industry.
I am in the space sector now, and when I came in, I was like, okay, I just manage projects, but what he's saying is true. I now know about positioning, navigation, and timing. I now know about what's it called, quantum PNT. I can call myself a space space person. You have to know it.
So you might not get to like
expertise level. No,
in that area.
No, you are not
just
an expert.
Get an understanding.
Foundational.
And that was what I tried to do in Novozymes. That listen, I'm selling industrial enzymes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of biochemistry happening here.
Yeah.
So why not just go to understand from
biochemistry
from the root cause? So and again, I was selling these industrial enzymes to food manufacturing companies and flour mills.
Oh, I see.
And so basically I watched a number. In fact, I signed up for a baking class. Just that I did not have the time to attend. I could bake in the house, but there are there were some elements of commercial baking that I really didn't understand. So the idea was get into the mind of your customer, understand how your customer thinks. Basically, that was the driving force.
There's a concept like this in marketing or in business. Is there? Like when you understand the customer, like where the heart of it. I think there's a concept. I'll look.
Oh, of course. I mean,
there's a term.
I might not know the exact term you're referring to, because but basically the idea of succeeding in business.
User experience, is that it?
So yeah, I mean, so user experience is an interpretation of the understanding you have of your customer. So user experience is just like interpreting your understanding of the customer in how they get to experience your products.
Because you can manufacture this power bank, for instance. But have you tried to use it? Is it usable? What's the usability? So yeah.
So basically, in fact, not only the user. If you're talking about experience now, not only the user, because in food we have a difference between the customer and the consumer.
Ah, okay. Who is the customer? Who is the consumer?
So the customer is the person that experiences your product at the point of purchase.
Okay.
And the consumer is the person that actually uses the product, the end user. You're selling baby food, for example.
Ah.
The people that buy are not the people that eat, that consume. You're selling pet food.
Please just
so
yeah. So baby food, for instance, as a mom, I buy baby food, but my baby eats it. Pet food, I buy pet food, but the pet uses it. And then the consumer is the person who is.
So the end user is the consumer. The customer is the person that engages at the point of purchase. Basically. So sometimes the customer and the consumer can be the same person.
Yeah.
But you also have to design their experiences at those various touch points.
My goodness. I had never thought about customer and consumer as being different.
Yeah. So basically, if you're doing an advert for, say, a kid's toy, right? The kids will use it.
But they're not the ones buying it.
They're not the ones buying it. But as a marketing person, as a commercial person, you have to optimize for the experience of the buyer and the experience of the user.
I agree, because if I buy a toy for my kid and I don't know how to set it up, I won't buy it again. It's not going to sell.
That also even plugs into the advertising materials that you develop. Who are you developing it for? Are you developing it actually to create it? Because just like you said at the beginning, when we were talking last year, we talked about difference in marketing and sales.
Yeah.
Basically, where we said marketing, the job of marketing is to actually create a pool.
A pool.
While the job of sales is to create a push.
A push.
So while sales guys ensure that the product is at the point of purchase.
Yeah. To make sure it's available.
It's available, right?
Yeah.
And that the customer has good reason to select it above others.
Yeah.
The job of the marketer is to ensure that whoever is coming out is pulled to that product.
That product.
So they have a nexus, they have a meeting point.
A meeting point.
Yes. So the meeting point, which is the point of purchase, the salesperson has a role, the marketing person has a role, right?
Wow.
The marketing person designs whatever tools are used at that point of purchase, having the psychology of the customer in mind.
Wow.
The salesperson ensures that those design materials are set up correctly.
Please, when are you starting your own YouTube channel? And we learn all these things in just one podcast. How many people will stay tuned? This is like
so basically these functions operate hand in hand.
Yeah.
Basically. I'm trying to remember from where I diverted now. The question
at the point of the next
question that led to this
learning. Oh no, user experience.
Yeah. So the user experience. Yeah. So basically for me, I'm a business development person, so I have to consider.
It's more of sales.
I have to consider end to end, both sales and marketing. So most times my core function is a selling function.
Okay.
But of course, in the region where I am, most of the time, at least for the last 7-8 years, it has just been me in market. There's a marketing person, there's a finance person, but they are not right there in the market. I'm the one,
You're the one
in the market. So I have to actually do the sales function, and if there is any marketing activity, the execution also rests on me. Right? The local country execution, I have to lead that as well. So basically, I have to think, I have to be in the head of the customer.
the head of the customer.
Understand how they think, understand what their need states are, understand how. So for me to actually understand, in the case of this B2B for Novozymes, my customer were these R&D directors. So I needed to get it. That was actually what pushed me to start looking into biochemistry, spending nights. I'll work in the day, I'll read in the nights, I'll work in the day, I'll read in the nights. So I did that for like 3 months.
So one of the things I talk about on my channel is to help people to not just to stay stuck in a particular place, but squiggling. So because I've squiggled across 6 sectors, if something does not, if a career does not serve you, it's time to change. So do you consider that you've squiggled in a way? Or do you think you've been in just one area?
Let me answer this from, I'd say, maybe a semi-philosophical perspective. We are human beings. And our time here on earth is limited. You don't have forever on this earth.
No.
Your human experience. I mean, I imagine myself, one of the things that drives me, I imagine myself at 90.
Wow.
Right. And I look back. I imagine myself at 90 looking back.
Wow.
I would either sit back and smile at the rich experience that I've had of this life, or I'll sit back and be like, oh I wish I did this. I wish I did this. I wish I did this. So I've sat at that chair, that 90-year-old chair, several times.
Wow.
And I have understood how many wishes that I will have there. And I'm solving for them now. Part of that is to have a very, very rich experience. And when I say rich and very experience. And that is why I take jobs that will help me understand the world, help me see the world, help me travel. That's number one. Two, in the lines of work that I think, so I started with sales project management. I have moved into marketing project management. I have moved into core brand and category management and marketing. I have moved into business development and strategy.
Wow.
And apart from that, but they've all revolved around commercial, basically. So I'd say in terms of a wider umbrella, I've just been in commercial.
Okay.
But exploring various aspects of commercial. However, in terms of industry,
that's where you struggle.
Yes. So I've moved from okay, so I was working in Pharma, although
Pharmaceutical.
yes, the pharmaceutical GSK, but of course I wasn't selling prescription products and stuff like that. I was dealing with the drinks.
What that experience?
Exactly. So I worked with the Pharma. Pharma, I worked with dairy and food.
Food, agriculture.
Food. So dairy, because again in the pharma business.
And consumer is also fast moving goods, right?
Exactly. So in when I was in Pharma, I was dealing with the drinks business mostly.
Okay.
You have drinks that
local
food, right? They've sold those businesses now.
Oh wow.
Right. So Suntory. So they no longer own
them
because they're not ready. But that at
those
the same time,
made my childhood.
Exactly. So there were other things. There were, I think, Horlicks chocolate drink. Yes, was also owned by GSK, and there's some over-the-counter medicines, Panadol, extract, the rest of them, right? But basically, you can see that there were some food products, right? Drinks, right? Then I moved to dairy. This was this was under FMCG, dairy for FMCG. Stayed there for a while, navigated countries, functions, blah blah blah. From there, moved to industrial enzymes. My industrial enzymes was also targeted at food companies. So it was still tangential within food. But so I would say I spent the first 10 years of my career in food-related industry.
Food and beverage.
Food-related industry. But you can see that there are various aspects. Somebody will be in food, but the experience of working on a B2B and selling industrial enzymes is quite different. Totally different. So now you are a supplier to the food industry. You're not working from within the food industry. So you're a supplier to the food industry. And I moved from there, did a very wide, I'd say 180 into education. Right. So moved into education with Elsevier.
Oh yeah, Elsevier.
With Elsevier, and then
which is publications, publications.
Not just publications. Publications are just one aspect
of it.
There are a lot of digital tools.
Oh yes, like citations.
So basically, do I go into this in detail now? Some of the tools help researchers organize their work.
Indexing.
So organize their work like Mendeley and the rest of them. Some of them
citations.
Some of them help you find research publications, databases. So Science Direct, Scopus, right? Some of them are targeted towards industry, right? Towards industry professionals. Right. Yes. So engineering village. Some of them are for engineers. Some of them are for medicine. Some of them are for so they have different tools. And some of them, like Cyval, are for university leaders to help build that strategy.
I see.
Yes. So a lot of technical
strategy for evaluation and promotion and performance
yes,
monitoring.
yeah, based on research outputs.
Yeah.
All right. So basically, there are a lot of basically we sell tech solutions within education.
EdTech.
Right.
For the avoidance of that, I think I was in academia for 15 years. Yeah, lecturing research. So that's why I'm
exactly.
I think so far I think I'm like, what should be 25? Probably so. Yeah, I know
That's what trust 25. It is well. It is well.
So yeah, now
Basically, now I'm still within education, right? But basically higher education, right? And so basically, I think I have moved around a lot. And for me, it's just I think I understood my passions and competencies early.
This is really good. So for someone in university working, or someone who is just a young graduate, or you're still doing your PhD, there's a lot you can do with your life. You don't have to stay in one niche.
Exactly. So
it's not working.
There is this thing around your passion and competencies.
Passion
right?
and competencies.
You might not find it in full within your first role. Someone was telling me 2 days ago, a colleague was asking me if I'm having fun with what I do. And I was explaining to him, I said, with the way I've moved around, right? This is one job that I believe I have done with a very, very high level of fulfillment. Because it taps into my natural abilities a lot.
Like you feel I am living, I am alive.
Exactly. So you finish so there are some things like I wish I could show you some pictures. There's a particular one I usually have to take a picture of that.
Okay.
I delivered a 3-hour workshop.
Wow.
Right to about I think 98 professors in a room.
Wow.
Right. By the time I came out, right, I walked to my hotel. Like I took a picture because my suit was soaked wet with sweat.
Wow.
Because I had to leave the presentation. I had slides. I left the slides. I closed the slide and wait. So probably I used the slides for the
cool.
Yeah. So I used the slides for the first 1 hour. And the remaining 2 hours we just talked.
Wow.
So it tapped into my natural what I loved to do.
Yeah.
So you could see me talking, delivering, and say, this guy will be a teacher. Whereas I'm actually using those skills in a way that gives me fulfillment. So I'm creating workshops, delivering workshops, doing trainings, at the same time driving commercial value, right? Positioning products, right? Engaging with various education-related agencies and things like that. With this, so basically for people looking to get into career.
Yeah.
So this sounds like bad advice, and it sometimes can be right. But because again, I remember when I wanted to resign from my first job on GSK, people were looking at me like, "Are you mad?
Are you all right?
Are you mad?
You want to get in there?
Like, do you know what it is? You pensionable job. Are you okay?" So I told them, I mean, it is what it is, right? So
they have to know what you want.
So we are. Our generation sort of took over from a generation that prioritized longevity, working for 30 years in one place and getting a gold wristwatch and a pension, right? So, but from the millennials, we're sort of changing the narrative a bit. It will keep changing as the world goes on. So, however, I think there are nuances to this thing. There are nuances to this thing. If you're working in a particular place, and just like I was in GSK, I was in GSK for close to 6 years, 5 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
So, for me as well, because I look back, I'm like, where did all the time go? But do you know what worked? Why that could happen? Within 6 years, right? My role made me live in 4 countries.
Wow. Okay.
And 5 positions.
Okay.
Within 6 years.
Okay.
So there was a lot of value addition. There was a lot of value addition. I know how I entered the company. I know how I left. I could point to specific things that were like groundbreaking achievements that I still speak about in my career. You know, I will still continue speaking about.
Yeah.
If so, we don't just move for the sake of moving.
Yeah.
I would say use maybe people that are coming out of school are likely in their 20s. So there's something I heard. There's something I heard a couple of weeks ago. I wish I can remember it exactly, but I think it's very poignant. It's really, really like it's spot on because it says in your 20s, so it just said in your 20s, really, like the advice was to take time to explore, to find out what works for you, right? Then it says if you invest time in building yourself, building your skills, building your capabilities, and understanding the track that really works for you, I think what happens is that in your 30s, you will start working. Oh God, I think there's a way the way they phrased it that was so, I'll probably remember in the course of this conversation, but it's sort of like in your 30s you would work.
I think I also saw that post.
Yeah,
Just
it was on IG. It
Yeah.
was on IG. It says something around your 30s.
Oh, I remember.
In your 30s.
I remember because I sent it to my husband. Yeah. So and then it goes on to say your 40s.
Your 40s, in your 50s,
Yeah,
your
I remember.
40s, you work how you want.
Yes.
Your 50s, you work
when you
want.
And then
Your 60s, you work if you want.
If you want to.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
Yes.
So that was really, but all this will be built on the foundation of your 20s, where you focus on skill development. You develop, you focus on learning
and earning.
Focus a lot on really getting a very solid foundation. And sometimes that foundation might not. So there's foundations can be okay. There are two things in foundation: depth and width. Right. I would say in the 20s, the focus should be on width for me.
Yeah.
It might not work for any other person.
I agree.
But for me, I'd say it should be on width.
I'm gaining that. I'm trying to cover the ground of what I missed in my 20s because I focused on depth. Because I did a PhD, so I focused on depth. So now that's why you see me reading 100 books in 2 years because I'm going for a week now. I need to broaden my horizon.
So the higher you go, right, the more you focus on one area.
Yeah.
You drive expertise. So your expertise, you hone them within that area in your 30s a lot. And maybe in your 40s.
Yeah.
But hone it a lot, develop mastery.
Mastery of it.
In those
So
areas.
I'll go for myself. I'm like an accomplished scientist, beautiful, but I noticed that there was a mismatch between what the area, like the science environment, with my personality.
Yeah.
Because I have those people skills of making people feel good about themselves. So I can stay here and I'll praise you. Like there's something about me wanting to leave the other person better off than I met them. So yes, I'm good. I'm a good scientist. I'm doing tissue culture. I'm discovering this. I'm building microscopes. But I knew that my elements was people skills, soft skills. Like I can work with you, and you go home wanting to come back to that place. So how can I transfer those skills from? I didn't want to just do the technical, but I wanted to shine more in that place because I knew that was where I can wake up and I can do this. This is what I want to do. Because I felt the workplace, we spend like eight working hours at work. We should be happy there.
Exactly.
Which is something I felt was missing in the science environment or in the academia where I was. A lot of people were frustrated and miserable, so to say. And there was a mismatch between my personality and some of the things I was seeing. So I felt this is how I can show up for science.
Incredible. So basically, just like to summarize the answer to that question, basically, so I tried these various industries in my 20s.
Yeah, in your 20s.
Yes. So once I got to the end of that, I then discovered that business development is it for me. International business development was it for me. So I focused on that. So right now, it is regardless of industry. I could move industries. I could move industries anytime. But you see, that area is where I am now developing core mastery. Yeah. So
really, which is why when I told you that because of that, people skills for me. My first reading journey was with psych and human behavior, understanding myself first, and then understanding other people and why. Someone can just come to me now and just yell and rant. I'll just be looking at you. You won't get any reaction from me because I had to learn how to hold myself down. Because you can't help people if you can't help yourself. So you need to. So for me, I see myself somehow as a stabilizing factor at work. Like even if things are crashing, I'm just that person who is holding here. So for me to do that, I need to be stable myself. So if I have someone who is maybe in my personal place at home, friendships, who is trying to like piss me off or anything, I've learned how to mute. See, if I'm not okay, I can't show up at all because a lot depends on me because I'm holding space for people. So I've learned how to ignore so many things because I can't be rattled. I need to whenever I show up at work, it needs to be HDM all the time.
And this is largely because you've taken that time to understand yourself.
Oh yeah, so 2 years. No WhatsApp. I was not in any WhatsApp. I'm still not in any WhatsApp.
Really?
I was off WhatsApp for 2 years. Just me and isolation. Lots of things, but yes, I had to get to the root of understanding.
When you look at it, I think that understanding is now what is now driving your career focus.
Yes.
So basically, when people are coming out fresh from school, a lot of that understanding they do not yet have.
No.
Right. So
and it's okay.
It's okay. Exactly. So, but this is the stage where they can really, try a couple of things. Try a couple of things. And if that rich experience, they are finding it in one organization, nothing says that there cannot be lifers in that organization.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it's called, lifer.
Yeah. So nothing says they can't be if they are finding that rich experience. So the experience that is rich and rewarding. You're in a place and you're getting meaningful work. You can see the impact of your work. I struggled with that for a while. This was part of why because when I was in marketing, I was struggling with putting a value to the impact of my work on the business. I always want to know what exactly am I contributing. Like, let's leave vibes and talk. Let's talk about real life.
This is what I don't know if you I was telling that I found it frustrating to be in the lab because I did not know what's my work doing, what's the impact. So public engagements, what I'm doing now on YouTube, like this is always something that happens. And I wanted where the end user, how is it impacting them?
That was my question because I know we create a lot of nice things, strategies, things like that. And at the end of the day, this business has grown. What is the marketing contribution? What is apart from
what's the impact?
Apart from the marketing impact, my own impact. It's not
what
like
difference have I made?
It's not like there was no impact. There was. But I just couldn't
relate to it. What impact? Me showing up 9 to 5, what impact does it make?
In the place I am, because maybe my mind is not so developed like most other people that can be conceptual with things like this. I like being tangible with things like this. In business development, I have listen. I grew this business by XYZ. I brought XYZ customers. I helped us open ABC markets. So I moved XYZ volume.
You can place your finger on it.
Do you understand? So that was it for me. Now, it doesn't mean that people that are in these other fields are not contributing. If they can articulate their value, it might not even be important to them. For me, it was important to
this is how we are wired.
Exactly. So it was important to me. So I had to get to a place, a function that helped me concretize things like this. So that was what kept pushing me from place to place, from whatever. But if people can explore like this, or maybe
exploring is important.
If some people are lucky that the first one they get is the one that works for them. Some are that lucky. Okay, it can happen.
It's still boring to me. It's still boring. Like one of the things I thank God for is that I did not become a medical doctor. I would have resigned after 3 years. For me, it's just my personality.
I have a story behind
just my personality, though. And everyone is different. We have happy medical doctors. And please keep staying in the hospital to save my life.
Exactly. That's why I brought this caveat. To say for some people, it works for them.
It does. It does.
Right from time.
Because we need doctors to stay 30 years to develop mastery, don't we?
Every profession we need them. We need them. The cobblers that make our shoes.
We need them to stay there for 30 years too.
Clothes.
Oh, okay.
People who make, because there are advances in every sector.
Yeah.
And mastery is needed.
Mastery is important.
To push the boundaries of those sectors, then there's mastery that is needed. So people that make food need to look at the kind of food we eat today. I was watching a documentary to show how bananas were like 500,000 years ago.
Wow.
How they were. They're far different from how they are today. So agricultural practices have evolved to make these things of the level we are today. Right? Imagine a temperature like this in London and you don't have thermal clothes or things like that.
Yeah, we need mastery. We do need mastery.
There's mastery that's needed. And basically, some people are lucky to catch their vibe early.
And this is where I want to stay. And they stay.
Fine.
That's good.
Fine. So basically, we're not encouraging people to just move for the sake of moving.
Like there's something you said here, passion plus competencies.
Exactly.
So I need my doctors to stay.
Wherever you know that, because again, each of us, like I said, our path is determined by our purpose.
Path is determined by purpose.
How we go through life is determined by what we are meant to do. So basically, if you know that a scissors is meant to cut, you don't store it in a bottle of water because it will rust. So basically, the scissors is meant to cut, and because it's meant to cut, it needs its edge to continually sharp. Because of that, it's where you keep it. You can't store it in a bottle of water. You can't store it in it because it will rust. Its edge will stop being sharp. Things like that. So basically, these things matter. So when we say people should try different things, what works for you at the end of the day should be something that is in alignment with what you know.
I also want to add something. So your path will determine your purpose, and your purpose will determine your environment. Where you are.
Exactly. And there's a lot to say about this one that I fear if I enter into it, I'm going to deviate this conversation.
A few moments later.
You were saying
mastery. We're talking about mastery depth and then professionals to push beyond the boundaries. We need people who have stayed long enough to melt barriers to push beyond, which is really important. So in as much as some of us will squiggle, some of us will actually stay. But I think the idea is that our lives should look as beautiful inside as it looks outside. So whatever you're doing, even though you want to stay long enough, I think we should all need to find that that joy, the passion.
Yeah. And like we're saying, the thing around our path and our purpose. Basically, the fact that your path is determined by your purpose, right? Basically, and you added something that
the environment.
It also determines the environment. Basically, so that's really important. And the environment, it cuts across a number of strata. So work environment, which we're talking about in terms of career,
culture,
so but also your local environment as well, you know, your local environment as well, where you find yourself, where you live. There is a thread, this statement people always make, where they say talent is evenly distributed, but opportunity is not.
There's a right way to be visible. Humility.
We used to call it humility. Thank God you remember. Humility. It's not humility.
Come correct.
It's not humility.
You are doing good work. Who knows about it? Visibility. So people who we see that have opportunities, it's not that they're the best. We just know what they're doing. If I want to buy something, who am I going to go to? The person I know.
Comes top of mind.
The first person that comes to my head.
And this is actually what marketing tries to do.
To put you first on people's minds.
Because part of marketing metrics is TOMA. Top of mind awareness.
Wait, this is page 1, 2, 3, 4, page 5 now.
So
TOMA.
So TOMA is a key marketing metric, basically.
Top of what, sorry?
Top of mind awareness. Right. So basically, whoever gets the opportunity is whoever you are able to remember first. So part of what brands try to do is to get share of mind. Right.
So it's not just market share. There's share.
Oh, yes. There's share of shelf.
You will see why I brought into our podcast. Wait, please. There's share of mind. There's share of shelf. I said I went home last year, and I was like, this one. I've done how many business schools, and I've not heard of this. There's share of pockets. Okay.
So please,
there's market share.
Let's leave it at that one. So.
God have mercy. It's a blessing to be able to sit and I mean, I came here to do a podcast, but you can see I'm learning. Like, to learning, there is no end. And that is why this channel exists.
When a brand starts winning, part of what they've been able to achieve is stickiness in your mind. Basically, that's how the world works. Unfortunately, some people have bastardized this. And that's why you see in some workplaces, some people start valuing visibility over substance. Because they've seen that only the visible people progress. Only the visible people get opportunities. It's sad, but
that's the way the world works. And it's your job to position yourself to be visible and not to hate on those who are visible. That's just human nature. I understood this by reading some books like The Laws of Human Nature, 48 Laws of Power. Positioning, visibility is very important. You might be doing all the work, but if no one knows what you're doing, so don't hate on that colleague who is visible. Position yourself. There are many ways to be visible without appearing offish or being braggarty or anything. You can do it in a very clean way. If you do all the good work and no one knows about it, human beings, we are wired, we are networks, we are relational human beings. If nobody knows what you are doing.
Just one point on this, you know. Part of my work currently has to do with engagement with university leaders, right?
Wow.
When I speak to university leaders on this aspect of visibility as well, part of what I illustrate, part of my illustration is that this thing about visibility and not caring about visibility feels like you've done good work, like a masterpiece, right? You painted a super strong, super beautiful masterpiece, right? You put it in an exhibition hall and you switch off the lights. So people are coming they know there's a painting there somewhere. But because there is no light, they can't appreciate the mastery that has gone into that work, basically.
Wow. At what point do you stop and find more reason to be in? So Ikigai is one of the books that I've read that have really been helpful. When your passion, your purpose, when they align, where is that Ikigai for me? So,
Not enough people talk about peer mentorship. One of the companies I was working in, who told me he doesn't think I had the ability to do this job.
I'll write that down, peer mentorship.
I do not think we have explored the possibilities of peer mentorship enough. There is so much that we can unlock just by getting peer mentorship right.
I'll tell you, Victor Okeugo. Victor, where can we find you on socials? I know LinkedIn, Victor Okeugo on LinkedIn.
So I'm more focused on
LinkedIn.
So Victor Okeugo on LinkedIn.
So if you want to find Victor on LinkedIn, you want to take your business global, culture, eat strategy for breakfast.
I actually consult for some companies.
You do consult. He's also into private consulting in emerging markets. So I think the next one is going to be Founders Corner. Please just stay tuned and hit the subscribe button. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.